Star Wars Outlaws 2 cancelled. Why Ubisoft pulled the plug on the sequel. Imagine the thrill of a Star Wars sequel being dashed to pieces. Reports suggest that the much-anticipated follow-up to Star Wars Outlaws has been unceremoniously scrapped. The reason? A dismal sales performance that left Ubisoft with no choice but to pull the plug. Star Wars Outlaws sequel, the dream deferred or ditched. In 2024, Star Wars Outlaws managed to sell 1 million copies during its initial launch period. Sounds impressive, right? But here's where it gets controversial. The game's colossal budget, those numbers were a mere drop in the ocean, marking it as a significant flop for Ubisoft. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot didn't mince words in a recent IGN interview. He squarely blamed the game's failure on the Star Wars brand's turbulent state. Outlaws was released when the brand it belonged to was navigating some pretty choppy waters. According to a fresh report, Ubisoft had initially toyed with the idea of a sequel, but recently decided to cancel it. This juicy tidbit came from renowned journalist Tom Henderson during the July 24th episode of the Insider Gaming podcast. Henderson revealed that Ubisoft backed out, clarifying that a sequel was still in the very early stages of pre-production, not yet in full development. Ubisoft also axed Star Wars Outlaws 2, which was in the planning stages. Henderson explained, it wasn't finalized or in full production. It was extremely early. They evaluated Outlaws 2 and decided, let's not go there. This development isn't entirely shocking, considering Star Wars Outlaws struggled to resonate with fans. Guillemot's recent admission of the game's poor sales performance lends credibility to Henderson's scoop, and yet I can't shake off a sense of disappointment. Outlaws, a missed opportunity. Star Wars Outlaws polarized players, and it's not hard to see why. One of its most glaring issues was the Chinese CIS stealth sections, which were more frustrating than fun. Ubisoft eventually released a patch months post-launch to remove these levels, but for many fans this was too little too late. It's genuinely heartbreaking, because the latest update significantly improved the RPG. With the release of the Star Wars Outlaws A Pirate's Fortune DLC, it transformed into a stellar title. But like Sony's ill-fated Days Gone, its launch was botched from the get-go. First impressions are more crucial than ever in this industry, and Outlaws' shaky debut continues to taint its reputation. I might be shouting into the void here, but I firmly believe Star Wars Outlaws is worth a look for RPG enthusiasts. As a Star Wars aficionado, it's also one of the best games for capturing the essence of the series' lore and world. Sadly, it seems any hopes for a sequel are now dashed, but I wouldn't be surprised if Outlaws becomes a cult classic among fans in the years to come. What do you think? Do you agree that Outlaws deserve better, or was its failure justified? Share your thoughts in the comments. Ubisoft CEO reveals why Star Wars Outlaws flopped. Is the franchise in trouble? Star Wars Outlaws struggled due to the brand's troubled waters, claims Ubisoft CEO. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has attributed the disappointing performance of Star Wars Outlaws to the troubled waters surrounding the beloved sci-fi franchise's fanbase. During a recent Q&A session with shareholders, Guillemot chose not to delve into the game's specific shortcomings, such as technical glitches or the repetitive nature of its gameplay. Instead, he stated, Outlaws was launched at a time when the brand it was associated with was experiencing some difficulties. It's undeniable that the Star Wars franchise has faced challenges recently, particularly following the mixed reviews of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and the underwhelming audience engagement with various Disney Plus series, including The Book of Boba Fett and The Acolyte. However, many fans found it somewhat simplistic to blame the mixed reception of Outlaws solely on these broader issues within the fandom. Interestingly, Guillemot did not address the technical issues that plagued the game upon its release. For instance, IGN's review of Star Wars Outlaws rated it a good 7 out of 10, pointing out the repetitive combat mechanics and noting that there were a few too many bugs at launch. Moreover, the game was surrounded by controversy even before its release, as Ubisoft faced accusations of pushing an agenda, which led to polarized opinions about both the developer and the game itself. In May, Star Wars Outlaws received its first story expansion titled A Pirate's Fortune, which is now available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. This DLC allows players to team up with Hondo Onaka, the leader of the Onaka gang. Hondo is a character well known to fans of Star Wars The Clone Wars and readers of the 2017 comic series Star Wars Darth Maul. He has even appeared as an animatronic character at the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge attraction. In this new adventure, he partners with Kay to confront Stinger Tash and her gang, the Rakana Raiders, exploit a mysterious tomb, then engage in smuggling activities for the Miyuki Trade League. Additionally, Star Wars Outlaws is set to launch on the Nintendo Switch 2 on September 4th. Vicky Blake, a seasoned reporter for IGN, brings over 15 years of experience as a critic, columnist, and consultant, having worked with some of the largest gaming websites and publications in the industry. She is also known for her diverse interests, including being a Guardian, Spartan, Silent Hillian, legend, and a fan of high chaos. You can find her on Blue Sky. Ubisoft blames gamers for poor game performance, refuses accountability. Ubisoft's recent comments have set off a firestorm of debate, as the company appears to be deflecting responsibility for its past missteps by placing blame squarely on gamers themselves. Instead of owning up to criticisms surrounding its recent game releases, Ubisoft insists that the lukewarm reception of titles like Star Wars Outlaws is largely due to gamer feedback. A recent financial report from Ubisoft has fueled this controversy. The company stated that external factors such as Steam, internet trends, and the gaming audience at large contributed to the underperformance of Star Wars Outlaws. In what many are calling a baffling defense, they claim that the introduction of microtransactions into their games actually enhances the gaming experience for players. This comes amidst a backdrop of falling stock prices and new financial backing from Tencent, highlighting a period of instability for Ubisoft. Rather than admitting the possibility that their games might not be meeting player expectations, the company has opted to blame external forces, including the very fans who support them. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot pointed to timing as a key issue, suggesting that Outlaws launched when the Star Wars franchise was facing challenges. He stated, Outlaws was released at a time when the brand that it belonged to was in a bit of choppy waters. This may raise eyebrows, especially considering the recent success of popular Star Wars ventures, such as the critically acclaimed TV series The Mandalorian and Andor, both of which have reignited interest in the franchise. The financial report also underlines that Ubisoft is facing risks to its reputation due to what they describe as online bashing, which involves coordinated and sometimes aggressive campaigns criticizing their products, teams, and public statements. These negative campaigns can manifest on social media and various content platforms, often surfacing after controversial strategic decisions or technical issues arise, affecting gamer perceptions and reception. Interestingly, while there is a fleeting acknowledgement that technical issues affecting games, the overall message appears to lean heavily towards blaming gamers and their reactions rather than taking responsibility for the quality of the products released. Indeed, it seems Ubisoft has overlooked a vital possibility: that the games they've launched may simply lack the quality and engagement to garner praise. Instead, they're focusing their ire on gamers, suggesting that outside opinions are primarily to blame for their shortcomings. As we take a step back and evaluate this contentious situation, one must ask, is it fair for a gaming company to dismiss the criticisms of its user base? Or should developers be more in tune with what players want and expect? What do you think? Does Ubisoft have a point, or are they sidestepping a much-needed reflection on their game development practices? Join the conversation in the comments below.